Hey, good afternoon, people. We are going to have another look at one of the drawings we're working on in Module 2, and that is the swivel arm. Okay. Again, like the adjustable fork, we're not so much talking about a much more difficult drawing, but we're extending our capabilities with the tool set that we have. So, a smattering of new commands, new techniques here. You'll first notice that this is our first foray into an orthographic drawing. That is to say, we have two views of a single object. We have a top view, this business right here, and we have a front view, this right here. Okay. We also have some additional line types, which we're going to use layers to draw. Okay, and so we have hidden line types in addition to our center lines, which we looked with the adjustable fork. Um, Everything else is going to be pretty much routine. I'll talk you through some of the things that you need to be prepared for in terms of creating an orthographic drawing. This is not your last orthographic drawing. In fact, all of Module 3 is all orthographic drawings because you know what? Orthographic drawings are ubiquitous in engineering drawings, civil engineering drawings, um, architectural drawings. Just about any drawings that you're going to do in AutoCAD are going to be orthographic. What orthographic means is that we're taking a three-dimensional object and we're figuring out how to show this three-dimensional object on a two-dimensional surface, i.e. a sheet of paper. In order to do that, we're going to show one view of the object at a time, and those views are going to be linked in a vertical and horizontal sense. So in this drawing here, these two views of the swivel arm, it's absolutely imperative that they be lined up perfectly. So every feature, this cylinder with a hole in it, must line up perfectly with this view of that cylinder. Same thing, the top view of this main cylinder in the center lines up with the front view of that main cylinder. So in orthographic, even though understand that in this class, in the introduction to AutoCAD, we're not going to teach you orthographic projection, but there's no way we can get around drawings that use orthographic projection, and we would be remiss if we didn't teach you how to create orthographic drawings because, like I said, they are the currency of drafting, especially engineering and architectural drafting. Okay, so let's get into this. All right, so there's our drawing. While you're watching this, if you want to pull the drawing up, please go ahead. We're going to get started with a template again, but note this is a metric drawing, so we want to make sure that you use the metric template. All right, there we go. So we start to make metric template. And you'll notice that down at the bottom we have a different set of layouts, right? In place of the ANSI A, ANSI B, ANSI C, now we have ISO A4, ISO A3, ISO A2. All right, this is just the metric or European equivalent to the ANSI A, B, C, D, E. They in Europe they use a different numbering system or coding system for paper sizes. Okay, so we'll cover all that when we get to the printing and plotting stuff. So let's go ahead and get this drawing started. And I'm going to start with the construction line because, heck, it just is so perfect. I'll put that in there, just like that, hit escape. And now I want to put the main circle in there. So I'll use center diameter. We'll go like this, and we'll do a 60 diameter. Whoops, I got to zoom out a little bit. And we'll do another one with a center of 100. All right, so there's our main circles, main top view of the cylinder. Some people, ask, hey, which view do you get started on when you start drawing? Well, you know what? Whichever view you want to get started, it really doesn't matter. And you don't necessarily have to finish one view and then move on to the next. So you kind of have to work with the dimensions or work with the design, and just get it done. I'm going to go back to the offset command, and I'm going to offset 100. I'm going to offset this line over here and this line over here, and then I'll offset 25, and then this will give us the next little bit, which is a diameter 50 and diameter 28. So we'll put a diameter of 50, spacebar, pick spacebar, spacebar, pick, and a diameter. Remember, now here's where you can get messed up. So I want to now type in 28, right? Because I'm doing the diameter 28 circle. What? What happened there? Well, what happened was I forgot that when I do the spacebar pick, it goes back to the center radius. And so I typed in 28 thinking that it was the diameter, but it was asking for a radius. Okay, so don't get caught. Oh, now I got to figure out which one it is. That's the one. It's too close to the other one. So just remember, if you do this, the spacebar, pick spacebar kind of thing, spacebar, pick spacebar, you got to make sure it's if you're changing the diameter, you just got to understand it's going to switch back to the radius option. All right, so now I'll ask you, how do you think we're going to get these curves in there right there? Let's see. We know the radius, right? And we don't know the center, right? We don't know the center of any of these. So we know the radius, we don't know the center. Oh, but look, it's tangent there, and it's tangent here. So it's a tan radius, all right? So, now this does, there's a, every once in a while somebody will get, when we're working on this drawing, we'll get a little bit messed up because they choose the wrong points for tangency. So remember when we discussed the circle TTR option, I mentioned that you don't have to pick the exact tangency. You don't really know it at this point, but you need to pick in the ballpark. So if I come over here and pick this and pick this and type in a radius of 154, it's going to curve it the opposite way. Why? Because I picked this quadrant of the circle, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth quadrant, when really the tangent is more over in the third quadrant. Okay, so if you get a circle that flips on you here, don't worry about it. Just erase it, go back, and say, hey, you got to just ballpark it a little bit better. Well, okay. All right, let's try that again. So I got to pick over here, and I got to pick over here, 154. There we go. And let's do that again, circle TTR. So we'll pick over here, and we'll pick over here, 154. All right. And we'll just keep doing it here and here, 40. This gets a little bit confusing. So feel free to not put all 4 circles in there. Feel free to put 2 of them in there and then trim it, or even 1 in there and then trim it out and then do the other ones. So trim, I'm going to pick this circle, these 3 circles, and do some surgery there. I'm going to have to pick again, so let me erase these lines too. they're kind of in the way. And let's finish our trim. There we go. Awesome. All right. Now at this point, I basically can go one of two ways. I can put in my center marks and center lines, or I can go ahead and finish, get started on the front view. I think here, we don't have to draw center marks right away because we can use object snap center, right? So object snap and center is on, and that's going to help me to grab hold of the exact centers of circles. Okay, so let's get started on our front view. Now, sometimes what I like to do, because I like to work with a large drawing here, I will create an orthographic view that's really too close to the other views, just because I'm able to keep the size maximized, and then I'll move it. I'll do that because that'll give me an opportunity to show you the move command also. Alrighty, so where are we gonna get started? So let's do this. Let's draw a line, and we're also going to look at object snap tracking, or OSnap tracking. So let's see how. I'm going to go to the line command, and I'm going to pick up the center, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to draw straight down, and I'm going to draw across, right? And I'm going to come up. All right, that's not able. I'm going to undo that for a second. All right, so let's see how we can. I'm trying to come up with a good way to show you guys a lot of different features here. Let's do, you know what? Here, let's do this. Let's turn on Object Snap Quadrant. Okay. This is what we want to do. All right. So quadrant is the object snap that allows you to grab the 3, 6, 9, and 12 o'clock position on circles. So I'm going to turn on quadrant. All right. And now let's do this. All right. Now watch carefully. I'll walk you through it or talk you through it. We go to the line command. I'm going to come over here and acquire the quadrant. Okay. I'm not clicking. And I'm going to track down. And when I'm good and ready, right about there, I'm going to click. Click. And I'm going to come across. Where do I want to end this? I want to end this right where basically the 3 o'clock position on that upper circle is. So again, I'm not clicking. I'm going to go up and acquire that quadrant, and I'm going to track down. Click. All right. Let me do that one more time. In fact, I'm going to turn off the command line because this might get in the way. All right. So let's do this again. All right. Line. And I'll do my whole thing where I say click again when I'm hitting the left mouse button. Okay, so line. I acquire that point and I track down. Click. I move across and I'm just going to go up here, acquire that point, track down, click. All right. So that's what I would call a super technique. All right, this is for super users, right? You can go ahead and put that on when you master that, when you get good at that, you can put that on a t-shirt and wear that proudly. All right, so that is a good technique to have. That's object snap tracking, and it really does save you time. All right. In the old days, what we'd have to do is we'd have to draw this line down here and go like this and draw like this and go like this or something like that, you know, and then trim it out. That's kind of, we don't do that anymore. All right. Takes a lot of time. All right. So we got that in there. Now I'm going to do some offsetting. So I'm going to offset, first of all, I'm going to offset 60. And this is the height of the large cylinder here. And I'm going to offset, go back to offset and offset 10. All right. And hit enter to or spacebar to get out of the command. Go back to the command, and I'm going to type in 40 for my new offset, and then there we go. All right, so now you can see the top line here and here. Those represent the bottom and top of this cylinder, and these two middle lines represent the bottom and top of these smaller cylinders on the wings. Okay. So now we want to let's get these cylinders framed in here. So we can go to the line command, and I'm going to work just from left to right. I'm going to get this in there, right there. Go back to the line command, hit spacebar, and draw this one right there. Okay. The diameter of these cylinders is diameter 50, so I can go to offset 50 and offset this in and offset that in. Okay. And now let's trim. Pick everything on the screen and get rid of those. Alrighty. Now, why don't we do this? Okay, we'll use offset object snap tracking again, or OSNAP tracking again. By the way, I've said this numerous times. I'm not necessarily drawing in the fastest, most efficient manner. I'm drawing so that I can, in some kind of manner, show you the most techniques. Okay, so you may have a much better way to draw, and I encourage you to kind of strategize about that, and and to see if you can figure out a way, or do it this slow way like I'm doing. I'm not that I'm doing it very slowly, but all right. So let's do object snap tracking again. All right. So what we want to frame in this cylinder right down here. So why don't we do this? Look, watch. Line. Acquire this point. I'm not clicking. Track down. Now watch. Click. Click. You see how object snaps came on and really helped me out? So now let's do that again. Line. Acquire this point. I'm not clicking. By the way, if you, let me interrupt this. If you accidentally click, if you're one of those people that has happy fingers and you're just clicking all over the place, right? This is what happens. You come over here and you click, and then you go down here and you click, and then you go down here and you click, and you're like, oh my God, what is that line right there? Don't worry about it, right? You can always just erase that line, right? Or you could just say, I messed that up. Let's try that again. Come over here. Don't click. Acquire. Track down. Click. Click. All right. So let's go to trim, and I'll pick everything on the screen, and I'll pick that, and I'll get that. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So now to finish this up, we really just got to get these ribs in there in the front view. And the ribs are, we can see on the dimension that they are, where's offset? Offset, they're 20 from the bottom here up. Excuse me. No. Now I messed up. They are 20 from here up, and they're 20 thick. There we go. All right. So let's use extend, right? Under trim, we can find extend, and let's extend this circle, these lines to boundaries over left and right, and we'll extend that, and there we go. All right, now what is going on over here? Okay, so let's take a gander here. This always confuses people, especially if you don't have much experience with orthographic projection. So if I look right over here, and in fact, let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. We'll go to like 100. All right. So look in the top view. You see how this rib, right? We're looking at the top view of this rib. It comes around here and it blends into the cylinder, right? So what we have is we have a 20 millimeter thick rib that is just going to blend right into this 40 millimeter tall cylinder. In the front view, that's what we're seeing. This surface comes and blends right in there. So what happens is at the point of tangency, right about there, that's where this surface blends in with this surface. At that point of tangency, that's what it looks like. This line just ends. This line just ends, signifying that this surface comes in and blends smoothly into the cylinder. So let's make that. All right, so we're going to go to the line, and I'm going to, let's go back to the line. I'm going to acquire this point. Now, notice I get object snap intersection, right? Because that's an intersection between two curves, right? And I'm going to track down. I'm not clicking. Track down. Let's go through that one. Boom and boom. Okay. Let's do that again over here. Line. We're going to, now here's where you got to be careful. All right. Here's where you got to be careful. Look at that right there. You see what's going on? So this is a heads up here. I'm going to zoom in here. We got two things going on here. We have the end point of this curve, right? And that's the end point or intersection. But then right here, we have a quadrant. Ay, Dios mío. So we have the quadrant, in this case, the 6 o'clock position on this diameter 100 circle. That's the cylinder. And not just a smidgen off is the intersection that we're looking for. Be careful with this. All right, I will be looking for this in your drawings that you got this properly. Okay, so let me just zoom in here and let me just make sure I get the right points, right? Not the quadrant. If you're at all worried that you might pick up the quadrant, here's what you do. Go down to Object Snap, turn off quadrant. And now you can't get the quadrant, okay? So I'm going to come down here, acquire, boom, and click boom. Okay, so you got to be on your toes for some of these object snaps, and that's exactly why we don't just turn every object snap on. Okay, we just don't do that. So let's finish this up. We got this one right here. There it is right there. So we track down, click, click, and then one more. Click, click. Okay. And now we can trim. Let's trim. Where's trim? Trim, trim, trim. There we go. Trim. And I'll just pick everything on the screen and we'll trim that. We want to trim that. And we want to trim that. Okay. Oh, and let's go back to trim. Let's pick everything on the screen. We need to get rid of these lines too. Okay, and we need to get rid of, these are kind of our construction lines, so we need to get rid of those too. So I'll erase those. All right, so far so good. But we're not really done here. What the heck? What are those hidden lines for right there? All right, so we have hidden lines back behind here. Oh, and we have some over here too. What could those be for? Well, behind this surface right here, behind these surfaces, I should say, this rib continues past that. So the rib doesn't stop right there. The rib continues past in the back. So this hidden line and this hidden line are the top and bottom surface of the back of the rib behind the cylinder. Oh man, look at all that stuff. All right, so we're going to have to draw that with the hidden line, with a hidden line. So, and we're really ready to draw all the hidden lines now. So let's go ahead and take care of that. All right, so first of all, to draw on a new layer, all we have to do is come up here to our layer drop down and choose the new layer. And I want to draw on the hidden layer, so I pick hidden. That changes the current layer to hidden. So now every line I draw and every circle I draw is going to be hidden, just like I want. Okay, so let's get these holes drawn in the front view. So I'm going to turn back on Object Snap, Quadrant, excuse me, because I'm going to use that again. And I'm going to go to the line command, and I'm going to pick up this quadrant. I'm not clicking. I'm going to track down, click, click. Go back to line, acquire, click, click. Go back to line, acquire, click, click. I'm hitting the spacebar with my thumb, by the way, so I can kind of, maximize my efficiency, right? My mouse hand, my right hand is occupied with the mouse. My left hand is occupied basically with the spacebar. Excellent, excellent. All right, so let's get these finished now. I'm going to turn off quadrant again because I know it's going to get in the way. I'm going to go up to the line command, and I'm going to pick that point. Look at that right there. All right, there's only one endpoint there because I turned off quadrant, and I'm going to track down here, click, click. All right, and what did I do that? What did I do that for? Well, because I need to draw a line from the endpoint here, perpendicular to that, or at that intersection. From the endpoint here. Now, I'll tell you what, this is not a trivial thing to see this, and especially for those of you that don't have a lot of experience with orthographic projection. That's why I'm just telling you what it is. I want you to be able to see this and, to understand where it's coming from and how to create that. So I'm going to pick that line and delete it because that was just a construction line. And let's finish up over here. So we'll go to the line command. We'll grab this endpoint. We'll track down, click, click. And now you might be thinking, well, can't we do extend? Why can't we do extend? Click that, hit enter, and extend right there. Well, yeah, we can, but guess what? It's going to extend it with a visible line. That's not what we want. So let's undo that. Let's go back to the line command, and let's grab the line and draw it from here to here, and from here to here. And then we can erase our construction line, zoom extents. All right, so far so good. All right, so that's it. Now we just got to add our center lines, center marks, and we'll separate these views. These views are a little bit too close together, but we'll separate them later after we get them in there. So now remember, with the center mark and center line command, it automatically puts it on the correct layer. So we do not need to change the layer to the center layer. Okay. So I go up to annotate and center mark, and we want to pick the outermost circle. Oh, look at that. Showed me wrong. All right. Well, what does that mean? That means that the metric template is not the same as the inch template. So let's go and we'll have to fix that. Let's go and change this to the center layer. Go back to annotate, center mark, 1, 2, 3. Okay. We don't need to extend these at all, so they're perfect the way they are. And then we can go to center line, and we go between this line right there. Now, why did that do it so short? Because this one was short. So How can we fix that? Let's undo that. How can we fix that? By choosing this line and this line. Beautiful. So don't choose this, choose this and this. It's the same center. This and this. And there we go. All right. So, so now we're ready to print. We'll space these out once we get the view set up. So we want to print this on an A3 border, 11 by 17 inches, 11 by 17 inches. I forget what it is in millimeters, but A3 is what we want. And we're going to click on the A3 border right there. And hey, we get to see a little view of it, right? Just by chance it's aligned in there, but we still want to go through our protocol for getting this set up. So remember what that is from the adjustable fork drawing. We double click inside here or click on paper and change it to floating model. So we double click, change it to floating model. Now I can go and do a Z space, E space, and bring that in there. Okay. And now I want to adjust the scale. So we're at 1 to 1.315446. So let's try 1 to 1. Yeah, that's not going to work. So let's go to 1 to 2. There we go. So I'll move that a little bit over there. I'll kind of bias it away from the title block and border. Now, we can lock it. We should lock it. Lock. And now, because I want to show you, we're actually in model space. So we can actually manipulate, we can draw, we can do anything we want in here. It's not typical that you do it, but you know, in this case, I want to move these views apart, space these views apart with the title block in my view, because that's kind of what I'm going to be basing this move with. So I'm going to go to the home command, home ribbon. I'm going to go to move, and it's asking me to select objects. How do I select objects? Well, gee whiz, I gave you a whole cheat sheet with that. So I'm going to just click right here, and I'm going to use a window. Click. And now I'm done selecting objects, so I'm going to hit the Enter key and specify a base point. Now here, all we want to do is move this relative to where it is. So watch. I don't need to pick an exact point. I'm just going to pick out in space here. And watch, see how it moves with that, right? So now, since my cursor is kind of out of the way, I'm not, you know, in the middle of things and I'm not obstructing my view. I can move this apart. That looks pretty good right there. Yeah, I think that's good. All right. So that's good. It's locked. I got everything. If you don't want to do it in floating model space, you can always go back to model space and move them apart, but it's just nicer to see this. Now I want to close my viewport, so I double click outside or click on model down here and change it to paper, and now I've closed my viewport, and I want to go in here and start entering the values for the title block. So I go to drawing properties and drawn by, all caps, instructor C Bales, course MDT 145 300, drawing title, this is called the Swivel Arm, drawing number, it is 3.3M, revision number 0, sheet number 1, material not applicable. I don't think they give us a, nope, they don't give it to us. Check by C Bales. Okay, nothing shows up? Right, because you have to regenerate your drawing. RE, enter. There we go. All right. Very good, very good. Now, yeah, notice that for some strange reason, you know, AutoCAD does this, and we can't get it to flip. I'm not even sure that you can, but we use the scale of 2 to 1 and it comes out 0.5 to 1. That is, or excuse me, we do a scale of 1/2. Well, 0.5 to 1 is 1/2. right? Remember your fractions. Okay, so it looks good. Everything's good to go. Beautiful. We'll save it. Yikes, I forgot to save it again. So, again, do as I say, not as I do. MDT department, 145. And drawing swivel arm 3.3, enter, and yeah, it gets put in there, right there. And we go save, and let's go to plot. So we go plot, ACAD PDF, ANSI-B, no, we want ISO A3, where is it? Right there. Layout, plot, preview. Beautiful. You can really see the line weight thicknesses here. Everything looks excellent. Right click, plot, create our plot file. It's good. And the fruits of our labor. Whoops. All right, can I zoom in a little bit here? Yeah. All right, so you can see line weight is good. All right, and we are ready to submit that now. All right, so that's it. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions and problems, and hopefully these are helping you get these done. All right, see you on the next video. Bye.